Good morning, grade 6 class. This is our third video about the work that you've been doing at home. We're going to be looking at this next exercise that you had in your module that came after the one where you had to complete the words in the text about the dinosaur. And this was a language exercise about suffixes. So grade 6 class, when you hear suffixes, they should already pop another word into your head, and that word should be prefixes. And when you think of prefixes and suffixes, you should think of beginning sounds and end sounds. Prefixes are sounds that are put at the beginning of root words to change the meaning of the word. And suffixes are sounds that are placed at the end of a root word to change the meaning of the word. So I did put it for you there. A suffix is added to the end of a root word to change the meaning of that word. So you should be familiar with these terms, prefixes and suffixes, and these are also just terms that you will have to learn and should become part of your English vocabulary as we look at our English language. So here I ask you to match the suffix to its meaning. Hint, if you're stuck, think of a word you know that ends with that suffix. Now I already gave you words to help you along, and I also gave you one of the answers. For number 4, I said for means is like something. But yeah, when we get there, there's some more that I want to say about that. All right, but let's start with number 1. Number 1 was the suffix able. Please listen to how I pronounce it, able. And then when I add it to a word, for example, the root word, the example I gave you there is the root word do. And when I add able to it, it doesn't become do-able. I actually change my pronunciation to doable, doable. So when able is added to the back end of a root word, we actually have to change our pronunciation a little bit, and it becomes doable. So if you were smart, which I know all of you are, and you looked at these definitions, more than, way of, the most, action or state, believes, and all of these, then if you look down here, it says able to, worthy of. So you had a nice little clue there in that able to that matches the suffix able. So when you can do something, it is doable. When you are able to do it, it is doable. Okay, so that answer there would have been 1. Then if I look at number 2, full spelled with 1 L or full spelled with 2 L's, if I add that as a suffix to a word, for example, grateful, we know the word full means a bucket full of water. It means it is full, there's a lot of it. So then I can easily see here the meaning of full would be full of. Grateful is when I'm full of gratefulness. Okay. Yeah, here it changes the word completely. I would rather maybe say beauty. When you take the root word beauty and you put full the back of it, the Y goes away, it becomes an I, but then something is full of beauty. It is beautiful. So I think that would have been a better example there because the root word would have been beauty. But please just take note, we spell beauty with a Y, except when we add the suffix, the Y becomes an I. All right. Then number 3, helpless. So less is the way we pronounce that suffix, less, but then when I add it to a word, it doesn't become helpless, I pronounce it helpless. So again, just take note of that pronunciation change there, but we all know what the word less means, to have less than somebody else, fewer than, not as much. So the one that would fit here would be without. So if I'm helpless, then it means I'm without help. Then number 4, I gave you the answer, is like. I just want to make a correction here with number 4. The example here is comely. And you can identify the root word there, which would be come. But then see what the suffix is there. The suffix is actually an ly, not just a y. So I want to change this word because this is not a correct example where you just add an y. I want to apologize for that, but luckily I gave you that answer. Comely would actually be more appropriate as an example by number 5, because you see the suffix ly is there by number 5. I want to change this word to greed. When you are greedy, so the root word there would be greed, and the y added greedy. All right, is like. Okay, so someone who is like something. Someone who has greed is greedy. All right, number 5, the ly suffix, li, kindly. So there the root word is kind, and the suffix is li. So if I am doing something in a manner that is kindly, so which one do you think that would be? More than, a way of, or characteristic, the most, action or state, believes or does, or characterized by. All right, so then I would, if I look at my meaning, my word kind, to do something kindly, it is a way of doing it. All right, so my answer there would be 5, way of, or characteristics. Then number 6, mint, meant, engagement. So when I can be engaged, or I can have an engagement. And there if I look at more than, no, the most, no, but action or state, that seems to fit, definitely engagement. When I'm engaged and I have an engagement, it's an action or a state. Then 7, clearer. Now I get to my want to say trappe van vergelijking, my degrees of comparison. Phew, my English left me there for a second. So when I get to my degrees of comparison, then I get to my ER and EST words, my and ist words. Those are related to my degrees of comparison. So something is clear, but it can also be clearer. So it can be more than clear, clearer. But it can also be the clearest, number 8, which is the most, which means the most, the clearest. So that links to my degrees of comparison. Then ness, for example, to be gracious, to have graciousness, to be, so there my answer would be characterized by or inclined to. Just by a process of elimination, I could already have worked that one out. And then number 10, sexist means to, it means to basically look down upon somebody or act in a manner towards them purely based on their gender, because they are either a girl or female, or because they are a boy or male. So being sexist means that you treat people differently simply based on what gender they are. And that is then somebody who believes or does. All right, that is a characteristic of somebody who believes something or they do something. All right. So those are the answers there for that language suffix exercise. All right, grade 6s, I'll see you in the next video. Have a nice day.